Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Neverwinter Nights. Last episode was basically just character creation as we made Ken Daniels here, fighter. We also got the intro to what's going on. A terrible plague known as the Wailing Death is ravaging through the city of Neverwinter, killing many and causing many problems, disasters. You know what comes with the plague, especially in a fantasy game. They called for people to come help, and the most promising were sent to this academy, where we are now. So let's move forward and start doing things. Hello.
Finally, you're up. I was afraid you were going to sleep all day. I guess the instructors work you pretty hard here at the academy.
Don't worry, not everything is voiced. You'll be able to hear my glorious acting soon enough.
My name's Pavel. I'm one of the new recruits. I just arrived here at the academy this morning.
You're Ken Daniels, aren't you? Yes, I am Ken Daniels. Is it true what they say about you? That Lady Arabeth herself ordered the academy to send you an invitation to come here for training? I've never heard of anyone being invited to train at the academy before. Usually people are begging to get in. Must be a great honor to you. It is an honor and a privilege for me to serve Neverwinter. You're pretty modest for someone who's got such high expectations on him. Wasn't quite so easy for me to get into the academy. My brother Bim and I were working on one of the nearby farms outside the city when we heard Lady Arabeth had put out a call for heroes to come to the aid of Neverwinter. We knew the city was suffering, but we didn't realize how bad things were until we got here. We arrived just before they sealed the gates and quarantined the city. Thank the gods I got accepted into the academy. I wouldn't want to be out there on the streets with the plague, not with the city guards barely able to keep order anymore. I actually don't know that much about the plague. The Wailing Death is a plague worse than any recorded in the entire history of Neverwinter. The whole city has been quarantined. Nobody is allowed in or out. The Neverwinter militia do their best to enforce a quarantine, but people don't like being trapped inside the walls of a plague-infested city. Every day more bodies pile up in the streets, and the citizens move one step closer to panic and open rebellion. Can't say I blame them. It's only been a few months and already the dead number in the thousands. Can't the clerics and priests do anything to help? Most people have given up any hope of finding a cure for the Wailing Death. Potions and medicinal herbs do nothing, and even the prayers of the city's most powerful clergy have been ineffective. I guess that's why Lady Arabeth ordered the academy to open its doors to new recruits. The city needs a hero, someone who can save us all from the Wailing Death. Word on the street is that Lady Arabeth is actually working on a cure right here in the academy. That's just a rumor, probably not even true. Can you tell me anything else about this plague? I don't know what more I can say about the plague. Everyone in the city is afraid of the Wailing Death. The bodies are piling up in the streets, and the citizens are on the verge of panic and open rebellion. So far, there doesn't seem to be any cure, and even the priests can't help those affected. I just hope those rumors of a cure for the plague turn out to be true. Tell me more about these rumors of a plague cure. I only know what people are saying on the street. Some claim Arabeth has a cure and she's going to start passing it out soon. Others claim she's keeping the cure for herself. But like I said, it's just rumors. Maybe some of the people who've been here at the academy longer than I have would know more about the cure. If there even is one. Anything else you can tell me? You could speak to my brother Bim over by the door if you want some tips on adventuring. Otherwise, you should go see Olgerd in the next room. He's the one in charge of equipping all us recruits for our training. Other than that, I don't know what more to tell you. I'm just a raw recruit here. You're the one who's almost finished his training. Goodbye. Yes, I suppose you need to get on with your training. You probably need to speak to Olgerd in the next room and get your equipment so you can take the final tests and finish your training. If you want any tips or instructions on adventuring, then don't forget to say hi to my brother Bim on your way out. Of course. Of course, there's still a few places I can go in here in order to grab some more loot that might be handy, such as gold pieces. Always a good thing to have. And we will get much gold in this exploration. Alright. Well, let's just speak with Bim, see what he has to say.
I saw you talking to my brother Pavel. My name is Bim. If you want, I can give you a short tutorial on adventuring.
What the hell? Let's see what he has to say. Okay. Oh, this is actually fourth wall breaking. You can break out of conversation by pressing the escape key. Yeah, this is basically just how to do things. Yeah, skip the tutorial, we can just go on. And we can go through here. Something to mention, by the way. Neverwinter Nights, one of the main things it had was, when you got it, you happened to get a scenario creator with it. The main idea was that this was very easy to be able to make your own scenarios. And there's going to be a lot of what you look at that's going to look familiar. I've actually experimented with this scenario maker in the past, and I can tell you, this is basically just 9 tiles. 1, 2, 3 rooms, and a 6 square large room. This is basically how it looks. And each of these individual things they could put down here. Put down individual tables, chairs, etc. And they created dialogue trees for the characters here. Anyway. Very easy to use. Let's move on.
Hello there! Come to get yourself some supplies from old Olga, have you? Good idea. Can't have you wandering about the streets naked. Might give the Academy a bad name.
Yes, because I'm naked. This armor is actually an illusion. The city guard are already having enough trouble maintaining control as it is. Plague bodies piled a dozen deep in the gutters, the wailing death running unchecked through the streets. Horrible, I say. But you've heard all this before, I'm sure. Here, I've got some equipment for you. A fighter like you might find it handy in completing your training. Now if you're ready, I'll give you a tutorial on how to access your inventory so that you can use the equipment I just gave you. I already know how to work it. Well, then I guess we don't need to go over it, do we?
Oh, this might be a good time to teach you how to use the stores in the game. I have some items here you might want to purchase. Since you're part of the Academy, you get a special discount rate.
Are you interested in seeing my store? I'll give you a quick tutorial in how they work, too. I don't need a tutorial on that. Okay, I'm not going to go prattling on when the listener already knows what I'm saying. So you want to see my inventory now? Sure. Great. I'm sure you'll find my prices most reasonable. When we're done, you'll find the door leading out of this room is unlocked. And yeah, this is basically what we have here. I'm going to sell this and get 1 gold. Swap out the leather armor for chainmail because it is more protective. The way combat works is you have an armor it's all random, it's all dice generated. For attacks, you basically roll 1 20-sided die, 1 chance in 20 of getting it, with bonuses depending on your attack capability and the like. And you have an armor class that you have to beat in order to be hit. In this case, any roll higher than a 15 will hit me. Well, 15 or higher. With the leather armor, it would be 14 or higher. Obviously, the better the armor, the better the protection. And you can buy the stuff back later on. Most of the stuff he sells is clothing and the like that bit of clothing we had before. There's the gladiator's outfit. And we can set it between clothing, weapons and the like. We can't afford a katana yet, but we will eventually. And yes, you can see all of the weapons you have here. There is quite a variety, some obviously better than others. The katana is quite basically the best single-handed weapon in the game, well, at least in raw damage. 1d10 damage, decent critical chance and the like. The longsword, which is basically the basic weapon, is about the same but does less damage. Katana's exotic, that's the big difference. You need an extra feat in order to use it. And of course, there's all sorts of other ones. 2-handed weapons as well, especially down here. And of course, the bigger they are, the heavier they are. Which is annoying. Scrolls and potions here. Potions for healing and other abilities later on, and various scrolls, none of which we can use. I think there is one type of scroll that fighters are able to use, but for the most part, scrolls are for the mages. Basically, one single-use spells that they can cast. Magic items, he doesn't have any. Miscellaneous. Torch, we got one, we don't need more. Spike trap kit, I've never used traps. Thieves tools, if you're a rogue or can pick traps. And healer's kits for healing, which I never do. Nothing else we need to do there, so let's move on again. And move on into here. Berna.
Hey there! You're one of the students here at the academy, aren't you?
Ken, unless I'm mistaken. I'm Berna, an instructor here on the academy. If you like, I can give you a quick tutorial on how to use your maps and journal. Not interested. Well, if you change your mind, I'll be right here to help you out. Is there anything else I can do for you? Well, may I ask you some questions? Of course. We instructors are here to give guidance to the students, after all. How else will you complete your training? What can you tell me about the Wailing Death? I know the quarantine in the city has done little to stop the affliction from spreading, though it has bred mistrust and fear among the people. Lady Arabeth does her best to keep the peace, but the rumors are beginning to fly. People suspect some dark evil is behind the Wailing Death. Soon the panic may lead to open rebellion. I pray we of the Academy are not forced into battle against the citizens of Neverwinter. They are the very people we are supposed to protect. Tell me about Lady Arabeth. Lady Arabeth de Tilmarand is a paladin of Tyr. She may be young, but she has already proven her courage and her devotion to both Neverwinter and Tyr. Lord Nasher Alagondar himself has given Lady Arabeth the task of saving Neverwinter from the Wailing Death. She's actually here at the Academy right now, in the South Assembly Hall. Once you finish your training, you can go to meet her. Do you know anything about a cure for the plague? So you have heard the rumors as well. You should focus on your studies and not idle gossip. Lady Arabeth is no doubt seeking a cure, but there has been no official word, and spreading rumors about a cure being stored here at the Academy is dangerous. It draws unwanted attention. The people are desperate for a cure, so desperate they might even attack the Academy itself if they feel we have one. Where can I go to complete my training? Just head through the exit in the southwest corner of this room. The Academy training rooms are all in the hallway beyond. Once you finish your training, you can go meet Arabeth in the South Assembly Hall. Goodbye. Goodbye, Ken. And there's a little bit here. A few bookshelves with books that we can read. I suppose I can read a few of them. The City of Neverwinter. The City of Skilled Hands is a beautiful, relaxed place. It is a walled city of over 20,000, mainly humans and half-elves. Craftsmen love the beauty of Neverwinter and constantly try to outdo each other in striving for ever-increasing efficiency and beauty of design. Many harpers dwell in Neverwinter, as do a few skilled dwarven craftspeople of note. Many good-aligned spellcasters also make Neverwinter their home, including the Many-Starred Cloak, a band of wizards who support Lord Nasher's rule with their spells, and some say hold the real power in the city. The Cloak also produces blast globes for the 400-strong city militia. Neverwintians tend to be quiet, mannered, literate, efficient, and hard-working folk. Deadlines and precision are important in all they do. They respect not only the property of others, but also whatever interests another person holds important for personal happiness. Following one's weird is a Neverwinteran saying for odd or reckless behavior. Everyone native to the city understands the need to do such. All in all, Neverwinter is perhaps the most cosmopolitan city in Faerun, escaping Waterdeep's slums and grasping competitiveness, and Silvery Moon's harsher climate and heavier need for defense against orcs and other evils. Cities in Amn and Kalimshan commonly claim to be more civilized, but merchants who trade there all say that Neverwinter truly is civilized, unlike some showier rivals who, as the sage Melamir once put it, have achieved dependence without the need for passing through civilization first. Neverwinter is divided into several sections called districts. They are the city core, the Black Lake, the docks, the peninsula, and the Beggar's Nest. The city core is the focal point of commerce, and houses Castle Never, the seat of government, and the Hall of Justice, a temple of Tyr. The Black Lake district is home to the nobility, while the Beggar's Nest is populated by many of Neverwinter's less wealthy citizens. The peninsula is constructed around a prison complex, and the docks district is home to one of the most extensive harbors of the Sword Coast. And now we know what the city we're in actually is like. Alright, as for these book piles, the Northern Four Adventuring Troop. The Northern Four is the name of a band of adventurers that have each gone on to become key citizens of the Sword Coast. Led by Nasher Alagondar, who became Lord of Neverwinter, the group also consisted of Dumal Erard, who went on to found and watch over Helm's Hold, Ophala Chelderstorn, matron of the Moonstone Mask, who is thought to be an important figure among the mages of the Many-Starred Cloak, and Kurth, who has become a High Captain of Luskan. The band adventured together successfully for many years, and spawned many tales in their adventures around the region. One popular tale depicts the successful rescue of the Black Raven tribe from a foul white dragon. As a symbol of gratitude from the tribe, Nasher was gifted with the noted Neverwinter Morgans as a debt child. The success of the troop eventually came to an end with a leadership struggle between Nasher and Kurth. Ophala was torn between her love for Kurth and her loyalty to Nasher, but after Kurth left, Ophala settled in Neverwinter, unwilling to compromise her hatred for Luskan and its arcane brotherhood. Many assume that she still bears resentment against Nasher for the way things turned out. Regardless, Nasher and Erard have remained close, and Ophala still serves her lord loyally. The same cannot be said of Kurth, who has joined forces with an army that would love nothing more than to see Neverwinter destroyed. One thing I should also mention, this game takes place in the Forgotten Realms setting, a Dungeons & Dragons setting that has been around for some time, and is, well, to be frank, has a lot of stories in it. If you ever want to look into it, it's possible some of these stories have actually been there. The story of the Northern Four, that may actually be a book somewhere. It's something worth reading into.
It's about time you showed up, recruit. My name is Herbert. As far as your worthless hide is concerned, you can just call me sir.
It's my job to teach you raw recruits some tips on combat techniques so you maggots don't get gutted out there in the real world. Well, recruit, don't just stand there with that dopey expression on your face. What's it going to be? Are you ready to begin your combat training, or aren't you? What's with all the shouting? Is this supposed to inspire me or something? You address me as sir when you open your mouth, maggot. If this plague hadn't made us so desperate for recruits, I'd boot your worthless ass out of here for that type of attitude. But I'm stuck with you, and I don't have time to break your spirit and teach you proper respect and discipline. We don't have to like each other, but you will listen to what I have to say. This information might save your life sometime, recruit, so listen up. And then he goes on to teach us the following, all the information. So I'm just going to skip through that, because I already know all this and can explain it as I go. Alright, go on. I've done my part, the rest is up to you, recruit. Time to prove yourself by facing one of the Academy's combat tests. Go speak to my assistants. Corporal Dendy at the southeast end of the room can test you in melee weapons. Then for your test in ranged combat and missile weapons, speak to Corporal Hewitt over near the west wall. Of course. And there is this guy who's just fighting. He can't really do anything else. Same with that guy over there. Unless we have this guy. You must be Ken Daniels, the one I've heard all the instructors talking about. I'm mighty impressed with you, I must say. It's a pleasure to finally meet you, Ken. I'm Ferdinand, the Academy's resident keeper of exotic creatures. I was afraid you wouldn't make it by my little corner before you completed your training here at the Academy. So, have you come here to view the menagerie? Or was there something else I can view? The menagerie? What are you talking about? This academy was founded with the purpose of training adventurers, so it only makes sense that we would collect strange and exotic monsters, the kind adventurers might encounter during their explorations. We allow our students to study the creatures and their habits up close, so that they will be better prepared when they encounter such beasts in the wild. Is there an arena where I can fight against these creatures? Hey, we're not savages. The animals are here for us to observe, not to butcher. Every month Usam, the local druid, comes by to inspect the creatures and make sure they're treated right. and I'm always watching for signs of injury or illness. Every one of my animals is well fed and properly cared for. I look after my charges, unlike their father. Tell me about yourself, Ferdinand. You actually want to know about something about me? That's a twist. Most people just want to see the creatures in the menagerie. They're far more interesting than I am. When I was young, I always knew I wanted to work with animals, but I didn't really want to live the life of a druid or a ranger. I don't relish the idea of living out in the wild all by myself. I worked for a while at the zoo in Neverwinter, tending the animals and such. That led to an apprenticeship here at the academy under the former keeper of exotic creatures. When she retired, I took over the job of running the menagerie. I want to ask you some questions. Ask your questions, Hen Daniels, and I'll do my best to answer. What can you tell me about the plague? The wailing death is a grim topic, and thousands have fallen to the illness, and not even the clerics can do anything about it. Something strange about this plague, though. It infects humans, dwarves, elves, all the races, in fact, but it doesn't seem to affect animals. That's very unusual. Not one of the creatures in the menagerie showed a single sign of the plague. Can't figure it out, but I'm grateful. I'd feel responsible if one of my beasties took sick. Have you heard anything about a cure? I know there's a rumor going around the barracks about some strange creatures from Waterdeep being brought here to concoct a cure, but I don't believe it. If someone was storing exotic creatures here at the academy, they'd want to consult with me first, right? But I haven't heard anything about it, and we haven't added any animals to the menagerie in months. Although I have to admit, if you wanted to keep the arrival of any strange creature secret, you wouldn't store them in the menagerie. That would be the first place people would think to look. Well, let me see the menagerie. Certainly. As long as you're here at the academy, you're free to view the menagerie any time you want. Don't worry, the monsters in there can't hurt you. We've taken every precaution, including powerful spells of binding, to make the menagerie completely safe for both visitors and the creatures inside. Just head on through the door here whenever you're ready to view the wonders of my little beasties. Of course. And even though they're combatable, we can basically see them. You can investigate them in order to see things such as how likely you are to be able to kill them. Not at all. A little description about it, and various stats about what they're immune to or other things like that. Stag Beetle, Ettercap, which has nothing special about it. Umber Hulk, just huge and powerful, and Hook Horror. Yeah, just some creatures that we may end up encountering later on. Anyway... this guy will teach us about combat. Melee combat, specifically.
So, Herban sent you over for your combat trial, did he? Well, my name is Dendy. I specialize in melee weapon combat. Are you ready to begin your final test?
Can I ask you some questions? Sorry, but can't. Herban can be a real hard-ass, and I don't want to get in trouble for chatting while I'm on duty. If you're not here to take the combat tests, I really can't talk to you. Sure, I'll take the trial. Don't worry, there's nothing to it. You and I are going to spar. I'll be in parry mode the whole time, trying to deflect your attacks. All you have to do is hit me once to pass the test. Or if you prefer, all you have to do is use your weapon to destroy the target dummy next to me. The choices are up to you. Either attack me or the dummy. Yeah. Alright, let's just attack the dummy. There's no health bar exactly, just a measurement of how injured it is, which we can see there. That'll tell us how close we are to killing it. There's unharmed, which isn't hurt at all. Barely or lightly injured, which is a little damaged. Injured, which is very injured. Severely wounded, which is pretty heavily hurt. And near death, which is a couple more hits and it's dead. Yeah, apparently we can't hit things very well, but we'll try.
Only one way out.
Go and talk to
There
Hewitt
we
to
go.
continue your test.
Sure thing, let's get this over with. And there's Hewitt.
So Harbin sent you over for your combat trial, did he? Well, my name is Hewitt. I specialize in ranged and missile weapon combat. Are you ready to begin the final test?
Can I ask you some questions? Sorry, but can't. Herban demoted the last guy caught socializing at his post. Harsh but fair, I say. If you're not here to take the combat test, I really can't talk to you. Sure, I'm ready for the ranged missile weapon combat trial. Don't worry, there's nothing to it. All you have to do is hit the target at the end of the hall with a missile weapon. You can grab a missile weapon from the weapon rack here beside me. Fire away whenever you're ready. I'll let you know if you hit the target. And there's basically a couple different possible weapons we can take, with ammo for all of it. I tend to prefer the bow when picking through them, so I'm going to take that, arm it, and then just go ahead and fire off until I hit it.
Nice shot.
Weapon won't work.
I need to talk to you again.
And there we go. I'm gonna keep it because you never know when you might need it, but so.
I guess congratulations are in order. You've passed the combat trial and completed your basic training. Your days at the Academy are finally over.
If you hurry, you can join the other Academy graduates in the South Assembly Hall. Lady Arabeth is there bestowing blessings on everyone who has completed basic training. Lady Arabeth? You're kidding, right? Everyone knows that Lady Arabeth de Tilmarand, the famous elven paladin of Tyr, is here at the Academy. Everyone's talking about it. I hope you get a chance to meet her when my shift is over. That's it? My training's over? Keep in mind, this is only the final stage of everything you have learned while you have been here at the Academy. This is a mere formality. You've already proven yourself worthy of going out into the world. Goodbye. Goodbye. Alright, and with that... Oh, we can zoom in and out with those arrow keys. I must have forgotten about that. And with that, we can move on. I'm just going to rearrange this slightly. No, actually, I think I'll keep it this way. There are a few more rooms here, though, that we can look in. Arcane magic training, where we can learn about arcane magic.
Hey there. Welcome to my little corner of the Academy. I'm Jeru, resident master of the arcane. It's more a ceremonial title than anything else. I'm really just your run-of-the-mill wizard.
Look, I'm not trying to be rude, but are you sure you're in the right place? My expertise is in mage and sorcerer spells, and you can't cast either type. If you want, guess I can give you a lesson in casting spells, but I won't bring you any closer to completing your training at the Academy. Or do you need something else? I'd like to ask you some questions. Okay, I'll do my best. Fire away. What can you tell me about the plague? One thing I can tell you is not to believe unfounded rumors. Those who claim the plague was caused intentionally by some unknown enemy of Neverwinter are only adding to the panic. Nobody knows where the Wailing Death came from, just as nobody knows how to stop it from spreading. And until now, there hasn't been any prayer or potion that can cure it. But I think Lady Arabeth is headed in the right direction now. She's a smart one, and I think Lord Nasher made the right choice putting her in charge of dealing with this plague. What can you tell me about Lady Arabeth? Well, I've never actually met her myself. I know she's an elven paladin in the service of Tyr, and I know she's the one in charge of keeping order in Neverwinter and finding a cure for the Wailing Death. And of course, everybody knows she's here giving blessings to those who have finished their academy training. Students have been piling into the South Assembly Hall since early this morning just to meet her. What's this I hear about a cure for the plague? I shouldn't say anything, but I suppose the information is common knowledge among the students by now. Kelvin Arunson, the most famous mage this side of Elminster himself, discovered a cure for the Wailing Death. Leave it to a mage to come up with a cure when all the priests and healers couldn't, right? Old Blackstaff figured out that combining the proper reagents would make an elixir to save us all. Waterdeep helped us out by capturing the monsters necessary to concoct the cure, and they sent them here to the Academy for safekeeping. That's the real reason Lady Arabeth is here, I suspect. Goodbye. Good luck to you, Ken. I don't know what your future holds, but I sense you are destined for great things. And in here we can find a couple of spells which, well, scrolls that I guess we can sell. There's a couple of apprentices here. A book we can read, Famous Citizens of the Sword Coast. The Sword Coast North is home to some of the most noteworthy personalities of the realms. Many won their fame with deeds of great honor, but others are known for the depths of their depravity and wickedness. The officers of Neverwinter fall into the first camp. Lord Nasher Alagondar, Lady Arabeth de Tilmarand, Watch Knight Desther Indelaine, and Abbot Fenthic Moss are celebrated for their kindness and wisdom, and each of these heroes has taken the safety of Neverwinter as his or her sacred duty. On the more sinister side, the 5 High Captains of Luskan are some of the most cruel and ruthless warriors in the region. High Captains Terrell, Barum, Kurth, Suljak, and Renthor are each vicious combatants, and together they enforce their will with merciless efficiency. The most powerful and feared spellcasters on the Sword Coast are members of the Arcane Brotherhood of Luskan. Among their number are Jaluth Alerth, Ornar of the Claw, and Del Tagar Zelhund. Little is known of the Brotherhood's actual role in governing Luskan and the surrounding areas, and the members themselves are loath to discuss their activities. The untamed lands outside the cities hold countless other instances of fame and infamy alike. King Obold Many Arrows, for instance, reigns over his orc tribes with an iron fist, while such well-known rakes and ne'er-do-wells as Elaith the Serpent Kralnomer move constantly from hamlet to hamlet to avoid detection. And another bookshelf here. Excuse me. The rise and fall of Netheril. To the east, on the sandy shores of the calm and shining narrow sea, human fishing villages grew into small towns and then joined together as the nation of Netheril. Sages believe the fishing towns were unified by a powerful human wizard who had discovered a book of great magic power that had survived from the days of thunder. A book that legend calls the Nether Scrolls. Huh. I didn't think this was Skyrim. Under this nameless wizard and those who followed, Netheril rose in power and glory, becoming both the first human land in the north and the most powerful. Some say this discovery marked the birth of human wizardry, since before this time mankind had only shamans and witch doctors. For over 3,000 years, Netheril dominated the north, but even its legendary wizards were unable to stop their final doom. Doom for Netheril came in the form of a desert, devouring the narrow sea and spreading it to fill its banks with dry dust and flowing sand. Legend states when the great wizards of Netheril realized their land was lost, they abandoned it and their countrymen, fleeing to all corners of the world and taking the secrets of wizardry with them. More likely, this was a slow migration that began 3,000 years ago and reached its conclusion 1,500 years ago. Whatever the truth, wizards no longer dwelled in Netheril. To the north, the once majestic dwarven stronghold of Delzun fell upon hard days. Then the orcs struck. Orcs have always been foes to the north, surging out of their holes every few tens of generations when their normal hunts can no longer support their burgeoning numbers. This time they charged out of their caverns in the spine of the world, poured out of abandoned mines in the Grey Peaks, screamed out of lost dwarf holds in the Ice Mountains, raged forth from crypt complexes in the Nether Mountains, and stormed upward from the bowels of the High Moon Mountains. Never before or since has there been such an outpour of orcs. Delzun crumbled before this onslaught and was driven in on itself. Netheril, without its wizards, was wiped from the face of history. The Irlan elves alone withstood the onslaught, and with the aid of the treants of Turlang and other unnamed allies, were able to stave off the final days of their land for yet a few centuries more. In the east, Irlan built the fortress of Askelhorn and turned it over to refugees from Netheril, as Netherese followers built the town of Curse in the High Forest. The fleeing Netherese founded Lork and Floudwater. Others wandered the mountains, hills, and moors north and west of the High Forest, becoming ancestors of the Uthgard and founders of Silvery Moon, Erland, and Sundabar. Okay, that's that information. There's a little more that we can look at here. There's a door here. I know already that it's locked. Yes, now I remember what these two are. Divine Magic Training. Instructor Ellenwind. This episode's gonna go on a little long, by the way.
Greetings and well met. I am Ellenwind, faithful servant of Tyr and devotional leader here at the Academy.
Though all are welcome in the chapel to pray and study, Ken, I am surprised to see you are here. Normally my visitors are exclusively druids and clerics. Have you come seeking a lesson in the casting of divine spells, even though you have little need of such learning at the present? Perhaps you require something else from me. Let's ask some questions. Very well, I shall answer your questions to the best of my ability. What can you tell me about the plague? The Wailing Death is a terrible affliction upon Neverwinter. The city has been quarantined and sectioned off, yet death tolls continue to rise and infected corpses fill our streets. There are rumors that someone has brought this plague upon us all for some unholy purpose. However, I doubt anyone could be so evil and callous as to cause such widespread suffering among the innocent. People have lost their faith. Even Lady Arabeth has turned to the Archmage Kelvin Arnson and the cure he claims to have discovered. I wonder at the wisdom of trusting a mage. What can you tell me about Lady Arabeth? Lady Arabeth is an elven paladin devoted to Tyr, and one of the strongest defenders of our faith. I understand why she has turned to the Blackstaff for a cure. I only regret our church could not do more. Perhaps I will have a chance to speak to her later about my concerns, once she has finished bestowing Tyr's blessings on the graduating students in the South Assembly Hall. What can you tell me about the cure for the plague? Officially, I can tell you nothing, but silence only breeds false rumors. Therefore, I will share what I know to put you at ease. The Archmage Kelvin Arnson claims to have discovered a cure for the Wailing Death. I pray the wizard's magic proves as powerful as he claims, yet I will also continue to put my faith in the powers of the divine Tyr, rather than an earthly mortal. Nevertheless, Waterdeep has sent us a menagerie of beasts from which to extract the reagents to concoct the cure. Lady Arabeth seems certain this will work, and I must trust her judgment in this matter. Goodbye. Go with the blessings of Tyr, Ken. Your destiny awaits you beyond the Academy's walls. The rest of these are all people casting spells and practicing and the like. And we have a potion of Barkskin, which, if we drink it, will provide us with some extra protection. Nothing else of note in here. What just happened? Hold on a minute. Okay, I'm back. That was strange. I did not expect the game to crash. Anyway, I'm just going to go into this run room now. Just to finish this off. Which is rogue skill training. For picking locks and the like.
Hi there. My name's Kenna. Head of Security, Espionage, and Intrigue here at the Academy. No need to tell me who you are. My sources are way ahead of you.
You're Ken Daniels, ain't ya? My sources never figured you as the type to go in for this whole creeping cloak and dagger bit, Ken, but maybe we had you pegged wrong. So are you interested in learning a little about the arts of those who operate on the shady side of the law, or do you need something else? Actually got some questions. Questions, eh? I always get antsy when someone starts interrogating me, but I don't see any harm in telling you what you need to know. Okay, shoot. What can you tell me about the plague? I'm not supposed to talk about the plague with the students anymore. Seems like the higher-ups think I'm the one responsible for starting those conspiracy theories running rampant through the barracks. But I know this plague was no accident. My spy network hasn't been able to find out who caused it or why, but if my sources are accurate, at least help is on the way. Seems that Archmage Kelvin Arnson has come up with a cure, according to reports delivered to Lady Arabeth. Not that I was spying on her, you understand. I was just snooping around for practice, you know? What can you tell me about Lady Arabeth? That elf has her good and bad points. She's smart and tough and gets the job done, but she's a goody-goody paladin of Tyr. She's always getting upset at me for borrowing her things. I got a funny feeling she'll be coming to speak with me about a certain missing comb once she finishes handing out blessings to the graduating students of the South Assembly Hall. What do you know about the cure for the plague? You're learning quick, Ken. When you want the real scoop, you come to me. I know all about Kelvin Aronson and the Waterdavian creatures. Seems the Archmage has figured out how to brew a cure for the Wailing Death using reagents gathered from the strange and exotic monsters. Monster that has been brought to the Academy for safekeeping. I think that's the real reason Lady Arabeth is here today, to keep an eye on those Waterdavian creatures and make sure nothing else happens to them. Alright, goodbye. See you around. Yeah, the rest of these things, we actually can't really do, since it's basically picking locks and that sort of... Ow! And a trap. Also a trap. We'll heal from it in a minute. Anyway, the only other thing I have to do here before we move on is to sell the few things we got. Something else to mention is that a lot of chests and loot boxes you find here, the treasure inside them is randomly generated as soon as you open it, including the bookshelves. So I actually got a few different things, including a few scrolls here that I can sell to get quite a lot more money than I had before. And with this money, I'm going to go ahead and buy a katana. And since I also have the ability, I'm going to go ahead and grab a large shield as well. There. Now we're fully armed and armored. And right here is where I'm going to end the episode. Next episode, we'll go speak with Lady Arabeth and finally end our training here at the Academy. Everything's going well. Maybe we'll find out more about these water-Davian creatures for the cure. But that'll be in the next episode, so until then, I'm Chester44. This has been... Oh, wait, I forgot. I also need to rest. Resting is how you regain health and spells and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, I am Chester44. This has been a Let's Play of Neverwinter Nights. That is Ken Daniels. And I shall see you all next time.